Do you see kind of the hippo result? Nah, it was a free-for-all, so I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Hey Adrian! Hi, Happy New Year to you too as well. This is correct, right? I think Philippe is from France indeed. Alright, let's take a look at the civilizations, the players, map generation, all the good stuff we always go for. Starting with land on the right hand side, we're gonna see for the blue player. Playing with the Franks over here, 20% faster, actually 15% faster working foragers, 20% cheaper cavalry units starting in the PhilipHJS, as well as 25% cheaper castles and free farm upgrades. Team bonus, 2 extra line of sight on knights, while Philippe's civilization, with the Persians, will provide them with 50 extra food, 50 extra wood. We also have for the civilization, twice the HP on TCs and dogs that work 10, 15, and 20% faster in the Philo Castle and Imperial Ages. That's a very interesting thing on this version of Atacama because of all the ponds that we have in the corners of the map. If it was the standard version of Atacama, then you probably would have wanted to go instead for something like the Magyars, for instance, maybe the Khmer, right? Even the Bulgarians, potentially. But it makes sense for this. It's going to be a mix between Atacama and Cross. And Philippe is already going to go for the dock. With the extra resources he gets, it's a little bit easier for him to get away with this. Oh, he's German. Thank you. Let's fix this then. So I guess it's going to be Philip, not Philip. There we are. And for the team bonus, finally, Philip is going to get also 2 bonus damage from 9 line units against archer type units. So let's take a look at the map generation. Taking a look at the blue player first. We'll know that he's got the main goal forward. And then he's got, there we go, up in the north. The secondary goal over there. We have another goal over here towards the southwest, and the main stone is going to be towards the south. Secondary stone is on the left hand side, and yeah, this goal over here is kind of close to the center, so we could see one fortification coming up to provide protection to both lumberjacks and gold miners. But still, because the wood over here is not particularly thick, it shouldn't be too difficult for the red player if you wanted to put some aggression out to go for something like a tower around here and just push all the villagers away. On the other side of the coin though, we're gonna see for the red player, he's got the main goal on the back. That is actually a little bit better. It's gonna be harder to put pressure against it. Then the main stone is going to be forward, closer to the wood. The secondary goal is going to be up in the north, and the other secondary goal is gonna be towards the east, a little bit down south. That's gonna be about it. Same situation can be said about the red player over here, with the main stone being somewhat close to the center. You could go for one fortification alone to defend both these resources. And instead, it's going to be, I imagine, the blue player, the one to have the possibility of going for some sort of aggression over here. One tower around this area would still have enough range. Oops. To push the villagers away from wood, for sure. And we'll see what we get. How are you guys feeling in 2023? How does the future feel? I feel exactly the same, of course. I'm just very excited to finally begin doing a lot of the things that I set myself up to do in 2023. And you know that one of those is getting back to actually playing the game. So that's gonna be nice. I'm really sure today I'm going to play already, or if I'm gonna try and pave the way for the games, like maybe going through hotkeys, settings, that kind of stuff. Maybe grinding some build orders before actually playing ranked. We'll see. I challenge you. Are you scared? I'm not scared. I'll fight you, boy. But I'm not gonna be playing on stream. At the very least, not today. We'll see about that later, once I get a little bit more used to playing once again. The other day I played after the 4th AAE Jeopardy contest, right? On Sullivan's channel, and dude, that was so rough. I had forgotten half the hotkeys. Some parts of the builds were kind of shaky as well in terms of execution. A lot of idle villagers. Yeah, I need to get back in shape. What ill are you at your best? I don't think that I can answer that though, because ever since DE came out, I've been focusing on casting only. So I haven't played in, what is it, 3 years? And before DE came out, I used to play on Bully, and over there, I think I peaked at 1670 something, 1680 something, I don't remember anymore. It was close to 1700, but not quite as high. And I don't really know what that would be equal to on DE. There are a lot of extra players on Definitive Edition, so my guess would be maybe 1400. Like if I get back in shape and I start playing as well as I used to in the past, 13 to 1400 sounds like it should be good. But the goal for this year is not only to get back in shape, the goal for this year is to improve. So I think maybe 1500 would be a good goal, perhaps. I don't know, I'm just gonna try to do my best, but if I can at the very least get back to shape, that's good. If I can improve, then that's ideal. So far, not really a lot of damage over here. Not really a lot of aggression. We have 3 scouts from Philip. Some spearmen coming forward. 4 scouts, 5 scouts even. Some spearmen coming forward, but he's unable to do anything as LaaaaaN is already going for walls. While LaaaaaN on the other hand, he's got 5 scouts himself. He's not going to be putting any pressure yet. And this actually favors Philip quite a bit. Because of the Persians and getting to the docks earlier, he does already have this one on the left-hand side, which he went for earlier in the game, but he does have another dock down south over here. He's got significantly more fishing ships compared to the bull player, and he has gotten ahead in economy because of it, the worker count over here. So if LaaaaaN doesn't manage to get something happening over here, then Philip's going to be in a much better position. Now, LaaaaaN is reminded me of Heart a little bit, in the sense that you are probably not really expecting to see the blue player in the Silver League, T90 Titans League, but yet here he is, right? That's going to be pretty difficult for Philip to get past. And I think somebody could do hashtag match to see what the elo difference is between both these players, but I would imagine the LaaaaaN should be significantly higher, right? I recall the blue player as a 2K4, 2K5 player at times, actually, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be Philip, the one over here, to have to clutch it up instead. Okay, never mind. The match command is not working. Who is the best caster player? Nearly or T90? I don't know anymore. 1 year ago, I would have said nearly 100%, but I don't know these days anymore. Nice, 2 villages going down. Yes, sir. The first kills coming in by the hand of Philip Scouts, by the sword. Philip's army, and then on the left-hand side, we're gonna see LaaaaaN try to go for a counter push as well. He does manage to get 1 villager down. There we go. In deathmatch, nearly probably? Oh, yeah, the deathmatch, nearly 100%. On RM, yeah, once again, a year ago, that would have said nearly, easily. But now I think T90 might give him a run for his money. T90's been getting like, really good himself. I think I saw him in the top 50 not too long ago. I'm not really sure if he was able to sustain that rank. Somebody would have to do elo space T90, but yeah, I think I'd probably still give the upper hand to Neely, but not by a huge margin like I would have in the past. TNT really went on a tear in the past 2 years or so. Like 300 elo hike. Yep. Yeah, he's improved a lot. He's been taking gameplay a lot more seriously as well. I remember back in 2022, at the beginning of 2022, when I was, you know, starting to think about what tournaments I was going to host for the year, I talked to him to invite him to, was it? It was a tournament that in the end I didn't end up hosting because it was replaced by Terranova Duos. But I talked to him to invite him over to that one, and he said, yeah, I'm gonna be playing more tournaments this year. And it was true. He played Terranova Duos, he played, well, the Silver League, right? For his own tournament as well. I don't know what else he played, but he's certainly been taking the game quite seriously. Another villager goes down! Yes, sir! From Philip. And LaaaaaN is still far behind in worker count. Philip's gonna be the first player to go out to the Castle H, and it's not particularly close for worker count over here. Plus, once Philip gets there to the next stage, he's gonna be able to resume villager production, and LaaaaaN is still a little bit behind by about 25 seconds, so that's going to result in yet another villager in favor of Philip. The one thing LaaaaaN is doing really well though is keeping pressure on the back goal over here and pushing the villagers away. So now at the very least, Philip won't be able to go for too many cavalry units, right? He's got only 26 gold. But LaaaaaN on the other hand, LaaaaaN's got the main goal over here completely protected. And the way that he's gone for the walls, connecting the center wood to the TC and protecting the main goal over here is fantastic, because otherwise that would have been an exposed resource if he tried to go towards the edge of the map. It just goes to show how you need to adapt to the game over here and think outside the box. Like, I immediately thought, if you're going to ever go for walls, you're probably going to try to connect to the edge of the map, right? But this is going to be just as good. Of course, he got pushed away by the tower at the center, but still he manages to secure the goal. And he will still have access to wood, so it's not going to be the end of the world. So Castle is here. LaaaaaN goes for the second TC now as well. And Philip is 8 workers ahead compared to LaaaaaN. At 15% faster working, the TC from Philip is going to produce a stronger villager lead by the minute, unless LaaaaaN, you know, starts producing from the second TC, of course. But it's worth noting though, the LaaaaaN's push over here is looking very strong. What is a worker? Either a fishing ship or a villager. There you are. Quick walls coming in for Philip. Beautiful. Yeah, that's just not to say 54 villagers when it's actually 42, right? Yeah, and Philip's able to defend himself just fine over here. He's got way too many knights for LaaaaaN to engage against this, plus a monk. Certainly going to help for the red player, and yeah, LaaaaaN gets pushed away from here, and Philip, he's got a great defense, but what's the best defense? A good offense, and now Philip is about to clean out the pikemen over there from LaaaaaN. 3 pikemen left for the blue player. 11 knights left over here for the red player, and if he goes forward with these units, how on earth is LaaaaaN going to be able to stop this? Well, he's certainly, you know, taking a step in the right direction. Going for a monastery and starting to queue some monks up means you should be able to convert some of these units, and that's one of the best ways to defend yourself against this too. If you're not gonna be the one attacking, at the very least you're gonna be converting your enemy units over to your ranks, adding enemy knights to your own knights army, plus having some pikemen over here to work with as well. Should allow LaaaaaN to defend himself just fine, and especially because Philip's kind of given the blue player a lot of time to work with, to get the monks out, to mass a few extra pikemen as well. It's good. Here come the knights. Philip took a little bit longer to go forward just to reset the HP of his units. Get chain bar the armor, but here comes the conversion. One monk is going to get a single conversion over there. We see the counter conversions coming up from Philip instantly with 2 monks over there targeting different units. Should be in a much better position, and LaaaN knows this, so he's going to bail right away. Try to take the fight underneath the TC, but I don't think this is going to be enough. The monks are over there still trying to get the conversions, and he will get one. He's gonna try to get another one. He doesn't even need to get it, as now the knights are getting completely pushed away from LaaaN, struggling to defend himself big time over here. It seems like Philip is going to clean this up. Absolutely beautiful from the red player. He needs to keep on going, by the way, and he does have production going from both stables at the same time. This is an engagement that doesn't really favor Philip too much. Even if he still comes out on top, he's taking a lot of extra damage because of the TC. Dealing damage to the knights. In the end, he does lose a chunk of HP, but he's got enough units to keep the TC idle, to keep on roaming around, to keep on raiding around, to keep on taking more villagers down. And the great thing about this is because he's got full production behind the push over here, and he's got chain bar and armor as well. So long as he is somewhat sensible on his push and somewhat attentive to the position of his knights, making sure that he does not just try to take the TC down when it's fully garrisoned, right? He should be able to produce more knights than he's losing at any given point in time, but it's been a little bit difficult. Yeah, especially now that he cannot keep production going quite as heavily anymore. Interestingly enough, though, he's not really done enough damage, right? I mean, LaaaN's got 3 TCs and he's still ahead in work count. Wow. Siege? Yeah, Siege would be fantastic if Philip could go for a Siege workshop. Not exactly sure where, though. Like, he could go for one over here, only so that he has a tower to protect it, and then he breaches through the stable, and then he can put pressure against DC over here, the monastery, right? But the alternative would be to go for the Siege Workshop over here and get like immediate access to the TC instead. Hey, Hots! Hi, hi. Is it Hots? Or is it Hots? Oops. Is it Hots? Or is it Hods? There we go. Freaking English, man. Yeah, I think I would probably prefer the Siege Workshop closer to the TC, so that he can just start putting pressure right away. LaaaN is stabilizing though and trying to catch up. Yep, he's going for it. Probably should have gone for it with the first push, maybe. That's water under the bridge. Let's take a look at the next engagement taking place over here. We have 2 monks this time around though from LaaaN. He's got a lot of pikemen, and the TC over there is almost fully garrisoned. That is not anywhere near as good an engagement as the first one was. Philip! He's getting clapped over here. Even if he comes out on top, he's gonna have such a small army. Yeah, the LaaaN should be able to defend himself with just a few extra pikemen that he trains, right? So this is much, much better for the blue player. And all of a sudden, while the game was looking much better for Philip just, what is it, 5 minutes ago? Now LaaaN has not only been able to stabilize against the pressure from Philip, but he's been able to come out on top. Take a look, the score is higher for LaaaN. The military and the worker count right now is higher for LaaaN as well. Unbelievable. The Siege Workshop is training, yeah, Scorpions, which I'm not the biggest fan of, in all honesty. Plus LaaaN is getting a defensive castle over here. Is going to be fine against whatever siege Philip goes for, even if he ends up going for Manuels, right? Wait a moment, I think it was Philip. I think it was Philip, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know anymore. I remember somebody in my chat in the past, a player named like this, telling me that it was supposed to be pronounced Philip. Fantastic raid. Our player's getting a bunch of villagers down. Left hand side, the counter raid coming in from Lando. So is going to find a few villagers over here. Yeah, and the red player might not be paying attention over here in time though. Now he is. Now he is. And Lan, notice how careful he is with his knights. Not to sit underneath the TC for too long. He's going to try and maximize the value of his push. But still, Philip is getting a lot of extra villagers over here. How many villagers has the red player gotten with this army so far? Well, with the knights that he's got still left alive, he's gotten 7 villagers, but I'm positive it's been a lot more kills than that. Many of the knights that got some of the villagers already died, so they don't get selected, but still, because of LaaaAN's much stronger villager production, he manages to still keep up with villager count, he manages to stay ahead, and Philip, on the other hand, is going to start struggling from this point onwards. He's gonna keep on pushing from the south because of the castle. He can try and get the push going up in the north, but that's exactly what he did last time around, and it was not enough, right? As LaaaAN was still able to stay ahead. And from this point onwards, it seems to me like so long as LaaaAN plays his cards right over here, it should be the Spanish player over here coming out on top for game number 1. And you know, as a tournament organizer, usually you want to save kind of like the best for last, especially on a Sunday, right? So you would imagine between Philip versus LaaaAN and Gabby versus HuCL, they are deeming Gabby versus HuCL to be the closest set. So I would imagine that the ceiling for LaaaAN and Philip is not quite as even. And let me take a look at the elo for both these players. Nice cleanup from LaaaAN. Yeah, okay, so it seems like Philip currently does not have any elo. He calls a GG. And that's going to put LaaaAN at a 1-0 lead against the German player. Let's go through the achievements. Take a look at what we get for game number 2 afterwards. Military did even KV 105 to 105. How fitting. For the economy though, it was a little bit stronger for LaaaAN. Not by a whole lot though. Only about 900 extra resources. It's certainly not looking like it was a landslide or anything. In any case, just the fact he was able to keep up was remarkable. And it just goes to show LaaaAN was able to get a lot more done with a lot less, given the fact that he did have, for the earlier stages of the game, a much smaller economy. And for the society stats, you'll see the LaaaAN, he's got a much higher villager max count. Hey, Happy Leaves, since you're here. Actually, let me finish go through the achievements. So yeah, a much higher villager max count over here for LaaaAN. In the end, he did manage to surpass Philip by quite a lot in terms of economy. And that's going to be about it. So let's go back across the map of civilizations and then take a look at game number 2. And here we go. Switching the yellow player over to red. What do we get? We're gonna have for LaaaAN the Dravidian civilization up in the north with a blue color. For Philip, down the south, he's playing with the Japanese. That means that LaaaAN is gonna have, first off, with the Dravidians, 200 extra wood upon reaching a new age. Is gonna get an addition to that. 25% faster attacking skirmisher. Camel archer units. He gets 15 extra carrying capacity on villagers collecting from fish and fishing ships as well. So the fishing ships can collect up to 30, the villagers can collect up to 25, and in addition to that, we'll see also for land civilization. What is it for the Dravidians? Cheaper barracks, wood. Yeah, I think that's about it, right? Cheaper barrack upgrades, I mean. For the team bonus, they're going to have 5 extra population support per each dock that they go for. While Philip, on the other hand, playing with the Japanese, will get much more efficient fishing ships. At the very beginning, it's not quite by as much. It's 5, 10, 15, and 20% depending on the age. But, you know, the longer the game goes, the more efficient they are going to get. And taking a look at the rest of the bonuses, Japanese will also have 33% faster attacking infantry in starting the field age. They will have... There we go. They will have, in addition to that, a 50% discount on drop-off buildings. And for the team bonus, Japanese get 50% extra line of sight on galley line ships. So galleys or galleys and galleon. Hey guys, you said hi happy over there and I thought you were talking to Happy Leaves. Let me see, the bug's still there. Yep. That's definitely me playing versus LaaaaaN in T90 Titans League. Let's go through the map generation. Yeah, no problem. I just didn't know if it was still present actually. Because we only saw it once yesterday, and I didn't try to replicate it today. So, what do we get over here? On the right hand side, we have a back goal already for LaaaaaN. That is absolutely fantastic. Then he's got a backstone over here as well. Both these resources should be pretty easy to defend. And up in the north there is a patch of berry bushes over here as well. Both players should be able to take advantage of. On the right hand side we have extra stone, we have extra gold too. This will be a little bit harder to defend, but this, on the very back, if you just go for some very small walls from here to here, maybe something like this in here, right? You should be able to protect all of this, and it's absolutely fantastic. Should be able to protect also the berry bushes, although I don't think that's going to be necessarily super influential for this game. And interestingly enough, we see where the docks are coming out from LaaaaaN, and he's going for 2 docks already. None of these are forward, so he doesn't really have too much scouting information. And if we take a look, or much vision, right? And if we take a look at Philip's scouting information, he knows about the house. So if you were to come with a forward dock, he would know better than to bump into the house, of course, and he would be able to go for 1 dock probably over here because he knows where LaaaaaN is going to have vision. We could see a dock come up over here, we could see the dock come up over here, we could see the dock come up like over here, right? There are a bunch of places he's going to be able to go for a sneaky dock, potentially even more than one. And because of the dock location over here, I would imagine that Philip is going to expect LaaaaaN to operate the transport ship for the most part from halfway through the lake up to the north, right? So he's not going to spend too much time trying to get vision down the south, so this could be really good for Philip. And right now, it doesn't seem like he's going to try to take advantage of it, though. Doesn't have any villagers going forward, despite the fact that he's... Oh, there we go! Oh, there we go! But LaaaaaN realized about the villager moving forward. He was keeping track of her with the scout, and Philip actually just says, you know what, never mind. He sends a different villager over the left-hand side, but it seems like LaaaaaN is... Okay, there we go. Now he's taking scouting a little bit more seriously, and he's going to try and keep an eye. The scout's going to try and keep an eye with the transport ship. Philip is already going there. If you take a look at the other way, down the south over here, to the map generation of Philip, it's kind of necessary for him to be the one putting pressure. He will not be able to secure the resources himself quite as easily because of him being so far away from the edge of the map. He cannot go for tiny walls, and he would have to spend a lot more to secure resources. He has, however, taken a lot of time going for buildings forward. So it's going to be significantly harder for LaaaN to get away with any sneaky dogs. Now, take a look at this. Philip's going for 2 dogs and he gets one up. He's already in the PhilippHJS. He's got a 16-second head start or so compared to LaaaN. So we might see the fire galley come out over here a little bit earlier. And the second dog's already up as well for Philip. Best wishes for this channel. Thank you, Diego. Best wishes to you too. Do towers on LaaaN range the island? No. Maybe. No. Maybe in the castle age or the imperial age with blocking arrow and fletching, but I don't think the PhilippHJS is going to be too effective. Third dog's already out for LaaaN. Third dog's on the way now for Philip. We have already 2 fire galleys over here for both these players. Philip's got 1 villager only though to repair the fire galleys with. They're fighting over the hill over here on the scout pod. Goes in favor of the red player. Well, they are fighting on water at the same time. These moments, they just go to show how incredibly important being able to keep up with several things at the same time is in a game like this. And my lord, the fire galley goes down over there and Philip's got to be frustrated about it. Demolition round takes the villager down. Prevents Philip from repairing fire galleys anymore, and this is absolutely fantastic for LaaaN. He's been able to defend really well. While he ended up losing the scout skirmish on the hill. Yeah, in the end. LaaaN is still looking a little bit better over here, right? He was able to get the villager down. Philip's bringing another villager over, and we see another demolition raft over there. Let's take a look. Philip. Yeah, he's got to pay attention. He is. 2 demo shots over there against the fire galleys. Do you manage to get a lot of damage done? LaaaN is paying attention. Micro in the weak units out. Well done. Philip, not so much. One of the fire galleys goes down. Another one goes down as well. That is a very high potential demo over there. Doesn't manage to get as good of a demo shot to see Kuda, but still is looking very much even right now between both these players, neck and neck. Here we go. Yep. And LaaaN seems like he should be able to clean this up, right? 2 fire galleys left for Philip. 3 left over here for LaaaN. He pushes. Hey, there we go. Well done. Happily is damned. That was fast, man. The light of the year, everyone. It would be nice if people had to give a speech or something to take the awards. I'm very curious as to what you would have to say about it. Yeah, I know, Philip. So long as LaaaN does not drop the ball over here and keeps on producing a few extra military units, he should be able to clean up all the docks. So Philip won't be able to get too much damage done over here anymore in LaaaN. Well, LaaaN is not putting pressure forward, so all the resources is invested over here. He won't really be able to make use to go and be aggressive, right? He's gonna have to go for a land push instead, and he doesn't really have any land production buildings, no arch ranges, no stables. We take a look at Philip on the other hand, and we see the red player is in the same position as well. All the resources he spent were to put pressure against LaaaN. In the end, LaaaN is going to be able to, yeah, stabilize over here to repel Philip's push, and yeah, nobody's going to be going for any land aggression anytime soon by the looks of it. Instead, LaaaN is saving the resources to go up to the castle age. He's in the market right now. He manages to you know, balance his economy. Now needs a building though. What is he going for? A blacksmith, alright. And we'll see the blue player go up to the castle age very soon. Yeah, and beautiful defense. LaaaN did not take for granted his lake over here. He did continue going for extra military units, for extra navy units. That's what allowed him to still survive over here, despite Philip's great navy push coming out of the docks. But this should very much go in favor of LaaaN for sure. From this point onwards, he gets a good demo shot over here. That's going to make a big difference. Demo! The back thing! Not the best over there for the blue player, but he still will take this fire galley down. He still will be left with a lot of extra units compared to Philip. Fantastic unit control over here for LaaaN as well. And from this point onwards, Philip should struggle to come back anymore, right? With extra navy units, the only way for, you know, with extra navy units for LaaaN, the only way for Philip to end up getting control of the lake over here would be to garrison the units the same way that he did for his last push, but the problem is that he cannot do it on the right hand side anymore. As a matter of fact, that is what basically dictated the push over here, right? He had to out garrison all the ships before this one got low HP enough to eject the units automatically, so that he would have some control over the way that he took the engagements over there. But in the end, this dock is getting taken, is going to get taken down, and he cannot garrison over here anymore. That's going to severely limit his ability to mass the units against LaaaN's army. So dock's going down, and Philip is pretty much out of the equation over here up in the north. Once the first player to get to the castle age is going to go for full greed. Very similar to what we saw in game number 2. The second TC comes up pretty much instantly for LaaaN. What I'm very curious about though is whether he'll try to produce still from the center TC, or if he's just going to delete this one and just try to bank on the extra TCs outside, right? So he's got the third TC on the way. Like, he can still definitely make use of this. He's got a transport ship still. It's just going to be APM. What is APM looking like for LaaaN? Yeah, it's comparable. Higher compared to Philip's anyway. And the red player? Well, he's gonna try and make a play for a land push. He's got double stables already up, and he's got into the castle age now. Bloodlines on the way. Forging on the way. Scale bar the numbers already here. Ideally, he will want to go for chain bar the numbers if he's gonna be playing with knights. However, I don't think we have too many villagers around the TCs outside the island right at the center. On the left hand side, we have a bunch, and the scout from Philip is going to realize about it. But on the right hand side, we don't really have too many. He doesn't know about it, but if he sends the knights forward and just tries to scout around, he's going to realize about this. And because we don't have too many villagers over here from LaaaN, like, really, Philip doesn't need chain bar and armor to put pressure against this TC. The left hand side one's going to be harder though. Outpost on the way, alright. Beautiful. Philip's moving over to the left-hand side. Siege Workshop is gonna put pressure where he knows LaaaN's got economy. He's going to realize now about the TC on the right-hand side, but he had already made a choice to go and push on the left. And to be fair, there is a much higher amount of economy from LaaaN on the left-hand side compared to the right-hand side. If you just take a look at the villager count, for instance, right around over here. Certainly is the right place to go and try to put some pressure. Second TC on the way on the left hand side. It's going to be the third TC now that he deleted the center one. Monk goes down, not a single conversion comes in. We have the all monsters over here, but the monks are still on the way, so these knights are just going to run rampant Going after the Monk and taking it down. The unit control from Philip is good. Hard not to get excited. Seeing Philip do so well over here. But then at the same time, can't really get your hopes too high after what we saw in game number 1 when Philip was putting so much pressure against LaaaN, was getting vill after villager, and LaaaN was still coming out on top every time, right? And that's going to be a big difference between the 2K and 2K4 players. There we are, another villager goes down. Yeah. In LaaaN. Gets the quick walls up on the right hand side. Well done. Left hand side is gonna be fine because of the extra TC as well. And Philip, once again, finds himself in a position where, like, he's got some sort of momentum over here, but it doesn't seem like it's getting him much of anything, right? He's gone for a lot of knights. He's gotten 2 stables up and running as soon as he got to the castle age, but he doesn't really have much to show for it. There are not too many knights right now. LaaaN is already starting to get the conversions. And Philip's going to have 3 manos very soon, but... And he's got some defensive siege Rosha coming up. It doesn't seem like Philip's going to realize about. He knows. He's going to try and prevent it. Unlikely though that he's going to be able to. Yeah. And 40C now on the way for LaaaN as well. Yeah, LaaaN has been getting a lot of conversions. That's something that I would like Capture to display over here. But yeah. Beautiful. Nice shot though from LaaaN. He's gonna get another one. He's gonna try. He's gonna do it. So the mana goes down. It's gonna be 1 for 1. But still, LaaaN's defense is the monks though. The monk plays are fantastic. LaaaN is now ahead in military count compared to Philip. Oh, wait a moment though, on the right hand side. I noticed the raid was going on over here, but I thought LaaaN would have garrisoned the villages by this point. How many villages is that? Oh my lord! 15 villages down already, and LaaaN realizes about it! After losing 15 villagers to the knights. Sheesh. It's like a monastery now coming in for Philip as well, but... It's been like this the entire game, and it looked like this for game number 1 as well. Philip just investing so much, trying to put pressure against LaaaN, and you really gotta feel it for him, because this is the way you want to go against a higher level player. You want to be the one putting pressure, you want to be the one calling the shots over here. You don't want to play just for the economy and hope for the best in the later stages of the game, right? Philip's tried his best for sure. Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's going to do too much for him in the end, though. 4 castles coming in. We'll see if it's enough. Where is it going to be? On the little mound over here? Doesn't really have too much in terms of options, right? Where to locate it. If he went for the castle a little bit further forward, yeah, well, over here he's gonna go for it because of the farms. But if he went, let's say, for the castle around here. That is not a castle. If he went for the castle around here, he can only push farmers away, but he's not going to be doing too much damage. Maybe he can take this 1 TC down. Nope. He doesn't have fletching, he doesn't have blocking arrow. If he researches it, maybe he can take the TC down, but I mean, LaaaN still has 4 additional TCs elsewhere. Meanwhile, Philip is losing all his knights over there. This might be a huge massacre. We have a mountain over there as well for LaaaN. A lot of knights, and castle is not going up, but that's going to remain smiling upon the villager corpses over there. Philip cannot do anything other than just laughing it off and calling the GG. And boy, oh boy, that was quite literally going out with a bang. And well done. LaaaaaN is, well, pretty much dominating the series so far. Over twice the population at the end of the game, and let's take a look at the achievements. We're going to see a better KD for LaaaaaN in the end, approaching 6 to 5. For economy, we have a stronger economy for LaaaaaN as well, collected about 2,000 extra resources with so many extra TCs and extra villagers. And, you know, you really got to hand it over to Philip, all the effort he put into these games, trying to put pressure. Because if you try to think about it, LaaaaaN collected 2,000 extra resources, right? But how many resources did he spend going for the extra farms, the extra villagers, the extra TCs? And it's very similar to game number 1. The fact that LaaaaaN had a, you know, arguably small economy lead over Philip, and he was still able to hold on against such a strong pressure is just a testament to the skill difference between both these players. Because honestly, like with 2 players of about the same skill level, this would not be enough for LaaaaaN to get ahead. This would not be enough for LaaaaaN to get ahead if Philip, or if somebody from the same level would have put the same type of pressure that Philip tried to go for over here. So it's just incredible to see the difference between both these players. Wow. Welcome everyone then to game number 3 this summer round. The venue is going to be Arena. And the civilizations are going to be Khmer for LaaaaaN? Okay. And Poles for Philip. Okay, so we have Arena, we have Khmer, and we have Poles, right? We saw in games number 1 and 2 that Philip's full aggression play did not work out. An Arena is going to have the best map in the map pool to try and make a play instead for more of an eco-oriented approach over here. Try to make a play for the later stages of the game. He's got, you know, freaking Poles. He can't play for economy. He's going to have an incredible economy in the later stages of the game. And yeah, I think this is probably the best opportunity for him to try a different approach against LaaaaaN. Let's go through the civilization bonuses. And by the way, thanks so much for the follows, guys. Everybody coming to the stream today, dropping your follows. Very much appreciated, and I hope you're having a good time so far. Is this Philip's map pick? Seems to favor LaaaaaN gameplay, no? I would think so. LaaaAN's actually been quite keen on Arena in the past, but this is Philip's home map, yes. I don't actually remember what the home maps for LaaaaaN were. Let me take a look. I think LaaaAN had Arabia. Hold on. Yes, LaaaAN had Arabia and he had Cross. And as a matter of fact, LaaaAN's first ban was 45 clearing. So I thought maybe he was going to pick that one as his home map, but no. Okay. Taking a look at the civilization, starting with the Wool player on the right hand side, we'll see the LaaaAN with the Khmer is going to have the ability to garrison 5 villages inside each house. It gets farmers who can drop resources, drop food without meals or TCs. And then on top of that, we're gonna have for the Khmer is going to have no building requirement no building requirements, so you can go up to the Fuel Age without Dark Age buildings and go for farms without meals, so on and so forth. And then he also gets 10% fast moving, battle, elephant land units. Now this civilization on a map like this is going to be great for going for early economy, in the sense that you can fast castle extremely quickly because of the lack of building requirements. You can go up to the Fuel Age and then immediately click out to the castle age without having to worry about going for a market, for a blacksmith, stable, or whatever. But it usually comes at the cost of economy, in the sense that because you go up so quickly, you don't have a proper eco setup to sustain production from all 3 TCs. And we saw this happen many times on maps like Hideout in the past with the civilization. We'll see if that's the case this time around or not. LaaaAN so far has shown that he's more than capable to pull a strong eco play. But of course, we'll see if the greed gets the best of him. For the team bonus, the Khmer also get 1 extra range and scorpion weapons. And taking a look at Philip's civilization, he's got the pulse. One of the strongest civilizations in the game for this map. Right up there with some of the other top tier civilizations. We're talking about Turks, we're talking about Bohemians. And for this civilization, the red player is going to get 0.33 units of gold collected from the stone mines, right? So each unit of stone that your villagers collect from the stone mine, from the quarry, you're going to be able to get 0.33 units of gold. So you can go for like 3 villagers on stone and get 1 villager worth of gold income. And then on top of that, the post will also have access to full work. He's going to have 5, 10, 15, and 20 HP regeneration on villagers per minute, depending on the age. And for the team bonus, scout line units for the pulse will get 1 bonus damage against archer type units. And that's going to be about it. Philip got this. Well, you want to believe, right? I know. Certainly I wouldn't want this to be an extremely short series. We have been live only for 1 hour. And we are already in match point, so... Especially because we have only 2 series today. You would certainly like to see these be a little bit in the longer side. PhilippHJS is coming up a little bit earlier for LaaaaaN. He's going up to 24 pop. This is good. This is good. This is going to allow him to get a proper eco setup in the Castle Age. The Khmer actually can get away with going up fast castling on 22 population, but that is extremely greedy. So let's take a look at the map generation for the players while we wait for them to get to the Castle Age. I'm gonna see first off for the bull player over here, we'll see the LaaaAN's got the main goal forward. Secondary goal is going to be on the back. The other secondary goal is going to be outside the walls, as the secondary stone is going to be outside the walls and the main stone is in the back. Now this goes forward, but I don't think it's forward enough to get spotted by any scouts scouting alongside the walls over here from the red player, even in the Castle Age. So I think it's going to be fine. Taking a look at the map generation for the red player on the other hand, we'll get the main goal on the left-hand side, main stone up in the north. We have the secondary goal on the left-hand side as well, secondary stone on the right-hand side outside the walls. And these resources, they seem to be far enough from the walls as well to prevent these from getting spotted. Although this gold, there's 1 tile over here, actually. That might actually get spotted, I think. This one, like if we saw the blue player scout like this, he might be able to spot this 1 tile of gold, and that could be actually pretty rough. Because if I don't think this is what's going to happen, by the way. I don't think LaaaAN's gonna be going for any 4 castles or try to be aggressive. I think he's just gonna go full economy. But in the event that in the future of the game, let's say in the Imperial Age, after the players have already gone out into the map and whatnot, if LaaaAN got vision of that gold over there, you could potentially go for just 1 castle over here and end up denying all 3 resources, right? Because of this 1 tile that's kind of protruding from the gold. Regardless though, Castle Age is going to be here significantly earlier for LaaaAN. He's going up on 2 fewer villages, but he's going up a full minute faster, close to it, 50 seconds faster, of course. He will go for the extra TCs. Right now, he's got almost enough to go for the 2nd TC, not so much for the 3rd TC yet. However, he does have a stable there. Is he going to try to go for a monastery instead? Try to delay the TCs? Yeah. He's going to go for the monastery, and he's going to try and get the relics instead. So he's playing for economy, but it's going to be a different approach. Instead of going for the TCs and ignoring the relics, he's going to try to use the relics get the relics, and then go for the extra TC afterwards. Meanwhile, Philip's got a lot of stone over here. It seems like he's gonna try and make a play for a castle. Now, that's a very interesting approach. You would expect the Poles to try and make a play for the latest stages of the game over here, right? Where their economy is really going to shine, but doesn't seem like it's going to be the case over here. Philip seems to be thinking of going for a castle drop and then, what, Schlag the privileges, maybe? I don't know about this, man. Philip, he's gonna try to go for full aggression once again. The only more aggressive thing that he could have done compared to what he's doing right now would have been to go for a trash, maybe, but that doesn't work. He can't help himself even with the pulse. Wait, he spent the stone. What did he go for? He doesn't have a... What? He doesn't have a TC. He sold a little bit of it? Oh my lord, he sold 300 stones, so he won't be able to go for the castle. Otherwise, he would be able to go for the castle almost right away, but... Yeah, he's just trying to make a play for the relics then. Okay. LaaaaaN is getting the second TC up already. Philip, not so much. Doesn't have the wood for it. He's going to get the first relic. The distribution is going to be pretty fair, by the way. If you take a look at the map generation over there, we're going to see 3 relics kind of in line in between both bases, and then there's going to be just the one, kind of like this, right? So we have the relics in line. Completely neutral. Then we have one over here that favors the blue player. He's going after it. And then this one favors the red player. Yeah, LaaaAN's going for it. Hey! Second TC's on the way for Philip. Okay. Okay, I'm liking this a lot better. And he starts to go for the farms. Let's go! He starts to go for the farms. So Philip's gonna try a different approach. And I like this so much better. If he had tried to make a play for a castle drop into Schlag the privileges, full night production, well, I mean, what were the chances going to be? Sure, the knights are going to be significantly cheaper. But he's already tried to go full aggression against LaaaAN before and it did not work out. I definitely would prefer to see Philip try a different approach, and he's going for that. Ideally, he wants to go for the 30C as well. He's got the resources already. And what a better location for him to go for the extra TC than in between the gold and the wood over here, right? Over there. Perfect. Conversion attempts. Philip's got 3 monks. LaaaAN's got just the 1 monk. However, it's not prevented LaaaAN from collecting 2 relics already. Philip's trying to get map control so that he can collect the final 2 relics. In the end, that should leave him in a... My lord, what's going on with Philip? I think he's paying too much attention to the military of the center and he's completely given up. Well, not given up, but he's not really paying too much attention to economy, right? Another full verdict coming up. Yeah, that's all good and dandy, but he needs to go for the extra TC. He's got the resources for it already. If he ever hopes to play for economy over here. As you can see, LaaaAN, he's got the 30C up already, and he is getting ahead by 10 villagers. This is kind of negating the Pole lead. The Pole, you know, the strong food economy from the Poles. So, yeah, Philip cannot let this happen. If he's going to play for economy, he kind of needs to commit to it. Instead, he goes for the second TC only. And then he's going to go for the castle drop. So it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a hybrid approach over here with 2 TC economy. A castle drop in Schlag the privileges knights. These knights are coming in significantly later compared to if he had gone just for the castle drop from the get-go. But he will have a little bit of a stronger economy to support this. Yeah, to kickstart production. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. I definitely would have preferred for him to just try and go full economy, but we'll see. We'll see. Compared to the 2 civilizations he played with before, the potential for aggression is higher for the Poles because of the much cheaper 9 units. He needs to get Schlachta privileges. He will breach through very soon. But then again, right, the potential for defense for LaaaaaN is significantly higher with a Khmer compared to the previous civilizations because of his ability to garrison his houses too. So, I don't know, we'll see. Just then, were the first 2 games close, or did LaaaN dominate? I would say, for the most part, LaaaN dominated, but interestingly enough, he dominated by playing full defensive. Philip tried to make the games very aggressive, but it was a big struggle. Now the quick walls fail over here from LaaaN. It was still going to be open in between the houses, but that's a good attempt. Conversion's coming in though. Scouts getting converted. Not what you expect, but that's what we get. Best offense, a good defense. Yeah, apparently for LaaaN that is the case. Getting deja vu, small military lead. Way behind TCs and villager count. Oh man, it's just... You know, and the thing is, I am pretty sure the red player is aware of this. I think he is playing the 3rd game, realizing just how far behind he is and probably regretting some of his own decision making. This happens to me as well, sometimes when I play. You think about all the things that you should be doing, but sometimes you are either too late to it or just don't manage to do it on time. And I fear that might have been the case for Philip over here, which would make a loss in game number 3 all the more, you know, what would you say, depressing? Maybe it's too strong of a word. Sadder? It would certainly make this more painful. Yeah, there we go. I think that's the proper description for this. I think if Philip is to lose game number 3, is going to be more painful than losing games number 1 and 2, because he had the right idea, right, for a moment over there, but then he abandoned it. And I think he's probably regretting it right now, especially as LaaaN gets to the Imperial Age earlier. Philip, he's got to realize just how far behind he is falling right now. And that just hurts all the most, of course. See? Here come the Knights. We see the conversions coming in against the Scouts. That is not the unit that he wants to target. And the Monks go down without a single conversion. So Philip gets to get the raid going already. However, there is already a defensive castle for LaaaN. He's got a trebuchet coming out of it. He's got to keep it. He's got to keep it alive, right? And in trying to take the trebuchet down, Philip's going to end up taking a lot of losses over here. And the trebuchet is surviving, and it's going down in the end. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. But it came in at a cost over there. That was actually not very cost effective for Philip. First off, because his economy is so much smaller, actually he cannot really afford to replenish his military as well as LaaaN. And then he actually lost a lot of knights over there, so I don't think that was particularly cost effective. LaaaN is getting the quick walls up over here. Philip's got a second castle on the way now. He's got a good production going. Triple stable, so that's good. And LaaaN's got triple barracks pikeman production. He's going for another barracks. Pretty soon he's going to have enough economy to go for the halberdier upgrade as well. That's going to make his unit so much stronger. And he's got cavalier right now, actually. There we are. Trebuchet is already out for Philip. If he takes a TC down over here, LaaaN is still going to be ahead with 3 TCs left. There we go, the monastery now, dropping all the relics. Will allow Philip to steal these. He's got one monk already forward. You can't kill a turtle by biting his shell. He's gonna try, for sure, but you're onto something, man. We saw this in game number 1 and game number 2 already. Philip's going for a good amount of knights, which is beautiful, but he doesn't have a cavalier upgrade. He doesn't have iron casting. He doesn't have blast furnace. That is extremely important if you are fighting against counter units. So we have a lot of halberdier over here, and here comes Philip. And the quick walls do not connect for LaaaN. He was not paying attention at the right place. And that is indeed a lot of knights coming over. Getting some good rates going against LaaaN, but LaaaN, you gotta wonder though, was this a ruse? Did he purposefully let Philip come in? That would seem kind of awkward, right? I don't think that's the case, but because the knights are on the back over here, they're kind of trapped right now. If LaaaN brings all the halberdier over to the north, he should be able to clean those units out. Now, to be fair, he's still under a lot of pressure though. PhilippHJS will take the castle down by the looks of it. Halberdier still struggling to keep up. And now we have some Obuch from Phil. The halberdier from LaaaN are not going to be quite as effective on their own anymore. However, there is only one castle, actually 2 castles left for Phil. The production should be quite decent for Obuch. And LaaaN. With the Khmer, he can potentially make a play for hand cannoneer. That will work against the Obuch pretty well. He's not thinking of it, or at the very least, he's not going for it right now. To be fair, he doesn't really have too much space to go for archer ranges, though. Yeah, and you know what? Philip's starting to... yeah, get too much pressure going over here. That's a lot of villages going down right there on the wood line before LaaaN even get a chance to react to the push. And this is very interesting. The fact that LaaaN chose Khmer. There we go, guys! Game number 3 goes in favor of Philip. And here I was doubting him. This kind of reminds me of yesterday as well. Philip does prove us wrong. In the end, he manages to take game number 3 over here, LaaaN. Trying to play too greedy over here is going to end up taking the first loss. Now, what I'm very curious about is the civilization choice for LaaaN over here. Choosing Khmer for arena means that he's saving some of the other civilizations for some of the other maps. So we're going to take a look at what those are. I don't remember what the draft is looking like, but usually you don't see the civilization on this map. It's not good, right? So LaaaN took a loss over here, and if you were just to judge by the matchup of the civilizations, you were going to expect over here. Of course, because of the players who are actually playing the civilizations, you couldn't really take this for granted, but in the end, Phil does manage to clutch it up. And guarantee a 4-game series. Let's go through the achievements before jumping into game number 4 and seeing what the civilizations LaaaN could have used for arena and decided not to are, and what he's gonna plan for those in the 2 remaining maps. Better KD for Phil by a lot, 5-2. For economy, see a stronger economy for LaaaN, collecting about 4,000 extra resources. For society, a stronger society or higher villager max count for LaaaN. He did end up taking the most losses though, 32 villagers going down throughout the game. Meanwhile, Philip on the other hand did not lose a single villager this game. Well done. There we are. Welcome everyone then to game number 4 in the series over here. Not a lot of people would have expected us to get to game number 4 in the first place, especially after how games 1 and 2 were, right? But for this one, we have Cross. LaaaN playing down south is going to make use of Lithuanians, which will provide him 150 extra food at the beginning of the game. He's going to have, in addition to that, 10% faster movement skirm and spearline units, as well as 1 extra attack on knights and light units per each relic garrison up to 4 relics, while for the team bonus, monasteries work 20% faster. So Going out to collect the relics is going to be a little bit quicker just by virtue of training the monks faster, right? Philip, on the other hand, playing in the red color, is making use of Huns for this map. Now, Huns are a very strong civilization for Cross. We have seen it in the past multiple times. They're going to begin with 200 population support from the get-go. It's going to come at the expense of 100 wood at the very beginning. And then in addition to that, we'll see also for Philip civilization, 10 and 20% cheaper cavalry archer units in the castle and Imperial Ages. We have for the Huns 50% accuracy on trebuchets as opposed to 15% compared to other civilizations. And then for the team bonus, Philip civilization is going to provide them with 20% faster working stables instead. I think we might have seen this matchup before, didn't we? On this exact map in one of yesterday's series. I think I recall seeing this matchup. Well, if that was the case, I think the Huns might have come out on top from my memory from some of the recent series that we've been casting from this tournament. Huns have actually looked very strong for the most part. Cavalry archer plays can be extremely hard to stop, and this is kind of like the same in game number 3, going to give Philip the upper hand in terms of potential for damage. In terms of the matchup over here, I think Huns have looked a little bit better, but that'd be about it. We'll see, of course. I would say that the matchup over here, while I would maybe give it to Philip just by a small margin, Lithuanians are a great civilization because of the extra food. They can go for the dock earlier, so their economy is a little bit stronger at the very beginning, but because of the past results, I'm going to give the matchup to Philip just by a little bit though, not by a huge margin. And that is the thing. Compared to game number 3, Poles versus Khmer on Arena felt like Poles were going to dominate 9 times out of 10. But over here, even if Huns have looked better against Lithuanians on this map in the past, it's not going to be a landslide of a matchup, right? The Lithuanians are a fantastic save once again. The extra food, you go for the dock earlier, and if you give LaaaN the tools with which to build an economy, you know that LaaaN's going to make the best use of them. Between both these players, he's already proven that throughout the series. This might be a little rough though for the red player. Come on. Oh man, the scout is on 3 HP. And LaaaN, it's full HP himself, is going up to the PhilippHJS earlier compared to Philip as well. Damn. You know, on paper, I would also give the Lithuanians the upper hand of the matchup over here. The only reason I am giving it to Huns personally is because of the track record we have seen. That might not be because of the civilization matchup though. I think that might have been because of the players for the most part. I actually don't recall right now if all the instances in which we saw Huns take over Lithuanians in the past were in games where higher level players would make use of the Huns. If that was the case, then yeah, the civilization, of course, the matchup is not going to be quite as important. There's potential for a snipe, yes. LaaaN is gonna be first to the PhilippHJS, but he doesn't have vision of Philip Scout. He's trying to get some scouting information himself. There we go, 10 seconds left for LaaaN to get to the PhilippHJS, and what is the plan over here? He's gonna get a villager. There is a little bit of a hill over here by the berries though, so might be able to get one if he fought from top of the hill, but yeah, won't be able to do too much. And Philip? Yeah, Philip's getting to the PhilippHJS himself, so Scout's going to be just as quick. On the left-hand side, LaaaN does have a second dock already up, so he's gonna increase his fishing ship count. Meanwhile, up in the north, Philip stopped going for fishing ships for the most part, scanning 6 up, and doesn't seem like he's got the 4 villager going up anywhere. Instead, it's just going to be the stable coming up with 2 villagers. LaaaAN's got the stable already up. He's got the scout already on the way. The walls from LaaaAN, though. Check this out. He's completely walled himself off already. Yeah, boy. There you are. Scouts are already coming out from land. Was just keeping vision on the left-hand side. Interestingly enough, he's not really kept vision of his back pond over here too much. You know, we had the first scout coming over from Philip. The first extra scout coming over from Philip was full HP. Managed to get a little bit of a better trade against that. Now the bull player is going for it. He's got 4 scouts, 2 additional ones on the way. Meanwhile, Philip is on 3 scouts, got only 1 queued up. He does have spearmen though. While LaaaAN has not gone for spearmen whatsoever. He already has the walls up, so the only reason he would go for spearmen would be if he wanted to go aggressive with them. But if he can just bank on the mobility of the scouts over here, that might be good enough anyway. So he's gonna try and take in the spearman. He does take in the spearman over here. He's gonna try and block a villager, and he should be able to do it. And he's going to do it, and that's 1 villager going down. Doink! Scouts keep on roaming around. There's no chance for Philip to get anything like that going around LaaaAN's base. Oh, but the sneaky talk is coming out from Philip on the left-hand side. Now LaaaAN has realized about it already. He's not going for a fire galley yet, but he has to. He's got the resources, yeah. Oh, he's going for a bloodline. Is he going to give up on the pond over there? What's going on? I got this on the way already for Philip. Yeah, LaaaAN's gonna be on his way to the castle age pretty soon. You know what? Is he going to give up on the pond over there? And just try to save the resources, go up to the castle age, and take advantage of the fact that he is completely walled back home to protect his land economy, and then just go for full aggression. Given the fact that Philip is much more exposed, right? Even if we have some quick walls around individual resources from Philip, if LaaaAN got to the castle age, for instance, he could go for siege, and a Mangonel is going to take the villagers behind the walls, no problem. No, he is going for a fire galley. There we go. And he's got a second dock over here. Meanwhile, Philip, he's got the second fire galley on the way. And it seems to be like LaaaAN should be able to defend himself just fine over here. He's going up to the castle age right now as well, so it did not impact his uptime, but too much. Still sick, still sick. Beautiful, right hand side. Oh, nice villager snipe over here. Did not manage to get the quick walls up on time. LaaaAN was trying to go and capitalize on a third pond, the one on the right hand side. Now he's got a scout coming forward, making sure that Philip is not trying to go for it himself. And the castle is on the way for the red player as well. However, LaaaAN is going up earlier with a higher worker count already. He's managed to get enough fire galleys to defend himself with. The left hand side just fine. He's going to take a very even engagement over there. In the end, the unit control is going to allow LaaaAN to get a better trade. And that should be the case, right? LaaaAN. 1 for 1. 2 for 1. Seems like Philip has better APM but needs a coach. Could be. Many of these players, they can learn pretty quickly, but they need more experience against higher level players. Like if you play just ranked games, right, for the most part, you are usually not going to get the chance of playing against like a 2K4 player that often. You're usually going to play against 2K players. Like Philip is 2K, right? He's going to be playing against other 2K players, 2K1, maybe 2K2 if the day's not the best, but I'm pretty sure he's going to learn quite a lot from analyzing the series afterwards. Yeah, coach would be beneficial already. We saw that in the past. And I'm mainly thinking of Winchester in King of the Desert 4, who got, if I recall correctly, coached by Fly Like Django. Second and third TCs are coming in now for LaaaaaN. And Philip has gotten to the Castle Age, and he's not going for economy, and it's just going to be the same, man. He's going for cavalry archers, he's going for full aggression, triple archer ranges. And every time that we saw the Huns on this map, we saw the exact same approach. Triple archer range, full cavalry archer. And they, for the most part, were able to dominate. But this is Philip versus LaaaaaN, and so far, every time that Philip has tried to be aggressive on somewhat open maps, he's not really been able to make it work. In LaaaaaN, well, LaaaaaN is coming forward himself, trying to put some pressure, so he's not going to play just defensive. And I think it's open over here. No. Oh, it is! It is! It's overjump! There is a stop over there! And the scouts and the knight! They get into the wall line, getting a villager down. Should be able to get more damage down over here. Wow, actually the second villager is taking forever to go down, and in the end it seems like it's going to be a single villager, but still this disrupts the economy from Philip quite a lot by having to pull the villagers away from here. That certainly seemed as if it should have resulted in a lot more damage, but just disrupting his economy is still going to be better when you keep into you keep in mind the fact that Philip's economy is so much smaller right now with about 15 extra workers. LaaaaaN is going to be in a much better position. The worker efficiency is so much higher for the bull player as well, and LaaaaaN is scaling. Well, certainly seems to be the case right now. He was able to clean up the left-hand side as well, so we don't have anything over here from Philip anymore. Down the south, LaaaaaN is still the only player collecting the remaining fish from here, and then on the right-hand side, nobody's tried to collect from here anymore after LaaaAN's initial attempt failed to materialize, and there is a 4 siege workshop attempt coming in from Philip. Meanwhile, LaaaaaN has got a defensive siege workshop over here already in place. Well done. There are a bunch of things that you need for the cavalry archer to become really effective. First off is going to be numbers. Of course, you want to get 2 good numbers. But just as importantly, you would want to get thumb ring, ideally, and ballistics. Both those upgrades together are going to be so important. With thumb ring, the base accuracy of these units goes up from 50% to 100%. With ballistics, they are just as accurate against moving units, right? So long as the units aren't actively dodging the projectiles. But the numbers are certainly going to be extremely important over here. Usually I say numbers trump upgrades, but in this situation, thumb ring is actually extremely important because it doubles your accuracy, or actually it removes the uncertainty, and it's going to make you 100% effective against static units compared to just 50% of max range. So yeah, thumb ring is extremely important. He's gotten it already, and from that point onwards, if he can get to 30 cavalry archers, that's going to be the magic number, after which he can one-shot Chain, Bard and Armor, Bloodline Knights. If he gets past 15, that's going to be enough for him to two-shot the units. So we'll see. LaaaaaN, on the other hand, he has taken the time to collect one of the relics. He has not managed to get too many in though, so Lithuanians aren't really taking advantage of it too much. Man, the cavalry archers are getting some good damage done over here now. Philip's gotta be careful and make sure that he always keeps a large number of cavalry archers, even if he splits his army down into smaller groups. So he wants to always have, at the very least, in my opinion, 15 cavalry archers if you're going to split your units up. Otherwise, you risk getting caught up and being unable to protect yourself. LaaaN. LaaaN is on 30 extra workers already. 10 military units behind, mind you. He's going for knights. He's got chain bar and armor just finished researching. Ballistics is coming out very soon. Philip's going for the university already. The engagement taking place, or about to take place. The knights are coming over. LaaaN managed to get a good amount of units. The scorpions will make a big difference as well, but the man who gets one of the scorpions down. We're gonna have only one left over here. For LaaaN, this is not ideal. Definitely the blue player does not want to take this engagement, especially not against the hill. Yeah, and we have enough units over here from Philip to clean this up without too many issues. LaaaN's going to buy himself some time by pushing the cavalry archers away. And this is what I was talking about. If you are going to split your army up with cavalry archers, you want to have a, you know, a good amount of units, otherwise you could just get cleaned up pretty easily. Yeah, the Kaiden has not been the best. The unit control has not been the best for Philip. But he's trying to ramp up production. He's at the 4th archer range. Scorpion's doing a good job. We have more Scorpions over here to play defensive with as well. And the Knights are looking great for LaaaN. He managed to get a lot of units out. The fact that LaaaN managed to get this amount of Knights out, despite having gone for economy this heavily, is nothing short of remarkable. Certainly a testament to the value of actually taking advantage of the pawns on this map. Well, Philip, on the other hand, still struggling to put pressure. And he's not kiting still, though! What was that? 20 meters with a single shot? Ah, with a single volley over there, a group volley, it's not enough. He's got 33 cavalry archers. He's got ballistics, he's got thumbring. This army that he's got is more than enough for him to one-shot knights. So, with good timing and good kiting, he should be able to take a much better trade over here. Now, we'll see if he's able to do it, though. There we go. Oh, man, but taking the magnet shots and fighting point blank range against the knights is not the way to go about it. He has gone down from over 35 cavalry archers down to 25 in the span of 1 minute over here. And LaaaN is just having a boon here. He'll have horse for dinner. Alright. Yeah, and once again though, it's not ideal. Philip's really struggling to make use of this. He just goes off the goal, the GG. Says well played. And LaaaN, playing defensive for the 3rd game over here in an open map, is going to manage to find himself yet another dub. He's going to be the one moving on to the goal league then, with a final score of 3-1. And Phil, man, you gotta really feel it for him, right? He certainly tried his darnest. And of course, it's very easy from us as spectators to sit back and say, well, he should have done this and that, or he should have controlled the units better. But I'm pretty sure that Phil tried to the best of his abilities, and I'm hoping that he's going to be able to utilize this series, you know, as experience, take it as experience, and be able to analyze this and get as much out of it as possible, because getting to the decider stage of the Silver League has certainly required a lot of skill from Philip, and I'm very sure that he's got it in him to improve even more so. So very much looking forward to see more of this player in the future. LaaaN right now proves a little bit too strong for Philip to take on. It's going to be the one moving on to the Gold League. Better KD for LaaaN in the end, by a lot. About 43 KD ratio. A little bit higher even. A much stronger economy as well, with about 10,000 extra resources for LaaaN, right? For society, we're going to see a much higher villager max count for LaaaN, a much higher fishing ship count for LaaaN as well. And overall, he just dominated. It was not particularly close. So let's go back.